Hey guys, a little bit something different this time around. We might even turn this into a series. I don't know, but I'm back here in my woods. I obviously live out in the country, and pretty gloomy day. And to be honest, I've been kind of going through a stretch where I've been a little down, uh, kind of finding it hard to, focus, get motivated, and I talk a lot about motivation. It's pretty much useless. Motivation just it comes and goes. That's why you have to focus on discipline. But um, I thought, that gave me an idea today because I was just struggling to get things around. I didn't have a real full day today, which is kind of unusual. Didn't have a lot of meetings or anything like that. So I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show you guys what I've been doing, what my family and I have been doing, and not necessarily something that you need to do exactly. I know not everybody has access to a woods or anything like that on their own, but the concept's the same. So I'm going to show you kind of what I do and what I think works for everybody. And again, we teach a lot of these concepts in Behind Bars Blueprint, where uh, when you're having a hard time getting out of a rut, what's something that you can do to help fix that? So let me show you what we're talking about. So I came home in 2009, and like everybody else, I'm sure that's done time, you're trying to figure out, where's my place in the world? What do I do? How do I figure things out? What's changed? What's not? And I found that a lot of times I was sitting around alone with my thoughts. And that's typically not a good thing. It doesn't typically go to a good place. So what you're seeing in front of you here is this is something that I started building back in 2009. And we call it the story circle. And family comes back here. We have, fire pit in here, and, we'll cook s'mores and do all that kind of stuff. But it was a project that when I was going into a bad place, I would put myself to physical work. Now this, as you can see, I was able to get a whole bunch of railroad ties off of a guy who, didn't want them anymore. They were cluttering things up, and decided, I'm gonna make something like this. If you look at these, this is kind of how like the old Civil War fences were made. That's why some of them are still standing today. This little zigzag pattern, it does a nice job. You can see there, we've had signs made that say story circle on it. But what I would do is I would just come back here and just build. I would plan, I would build, I would drag each one of these in one by one, heave them up, set them in place. I actually lost a toenail during this project, dropped one of these things on my toe when I was tired, not paying attention. But I would find that I could go throughout an entire day as I worked on this and really wind up feeling better. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that you when you get yourself in a mental state, a lot of times the best way to get out of it is to do something physical. You'll see here on my son's shelter, found a bunch of cinder blocks that were, I think, part of some type of storage or something. I don't know, but we found all these cinder blocks, and so we started putting these together. And if you can see what he's done here, sorry about my camera is not wanting to cooperate. There we go. Is kind of the same concept. He had stacked this wall up before, and it was a straight line, and it fell down almost immediately, the whole thing. So an hour's worth of work and heaving these things around. So he got smart, and if you notice here, he zigzagged everything. Is it pretty? No, but will it work? Yes. So what I'm just going to do, guys, is I'm just going to start kind of working on this. We're going to start working on a wall right here today. We're going to work on a Saxon type wall, put that up. I'm just going to kind of show you bits and pieces of it in clips. I'm not going to bore you with the whole thing, but I'm going to talk as I take breaks and just kind of go over some of the things that you might not have thought about before, but are some things that you can use to help yourself, especially if you've been in a mental funk for a really long time. So over here, just creating a workstation. It's very quick and very simple, very easy. This is basically just medieval sawhorses. You saw me earlier doing this, bringing these over. You just get yourself some bank line or some paracord. You don't have to build a real fancy contraption. I see guys, and they're really good at it, and I'm not. They whip together all these, sawhorses and everything else, and make it look nice. I just slap these two guys up onto a tree and run your log in between the two or whatever you're trying to do, and let you cut things over. As you get older, you got to be smart. You got to realize that your body is going to take a toll, even sometimes the littlest things. When you get out here doing this stuff, it can definitely start adding up real quick, especially when it's cold out. That's Maverick. Hey, buddy. And this guy is Riddick. Riddick is an English Shepherd, and Maverick here is a 115-pound Bernese Mountain Dog. He's also a big baby, but that's beside the point. So I just finished lunch, finished refueling. Had an MRE, as you saw, but I got to be honest, I've had several of them. They're pretty good. Especially when you compare it to prison food. I'm sure a lot of our men and women in the armed forces may disagree with me, and I imagine after a while you probably get tired of them. But I'll tell you, when you're out in the middle of nowhere and that's what you've got. I mean, that thing had a nice little heater in it. You heated that hamburger patty up that was jalapeno and cheddar, and it'll definitely keep you alive and definitely fill you up. So, got some refueling, and I just want to talk real quick about some things. That goes along with everything that we've been doing today. As you can see here, I'm going to see if I can spin this around. Progress. That's all we're looking for. Doesn't have to be pretty. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just progress. But what I wanted to say basically is to reiterate and to elaborate a little bit more on the fact that when your mind is going someplace dark, do something, move, use your hands, clean something, build something. If you look at everything that I've done out here today, and I'm not even remotely close to being done, obviously, and that's the fun of it. It just takes a long time. It's a work in progress. But I built a fire. I did something. I built a fire. I prepared my lunch. Again, even though it was an MRE, I had to read the instructions and learn I've never had that MRE before. It was really good. I built the station that we just looked at over here, where you can process and cut timber so you can start working on your shelter here. Raked everything out, cleaned everything up, moved some stuff around. There's some stuff I did that was off camera too, but do something. And you don't have to go out here in the middle of nowhere and, start, pretending like you're Survivor Man or something. It's just, you've got to be able to figure out something that I'm going to do with my hands. Use your hands, use your feet, do something. And I think I've talked about this in other videos, but Jocko Willink talks about if you don't know where you're going, if you don't know what's going on, if you're in a dark place, walk. Just walk. Start walking, because that does something to your body and it does something to your brain. And what it does is it starts getting you out of where you're at. Because I can tell you, if you just sit in the funk, all you're going to do is just sit in the funk. So I hope this has been helpful, guys. We're going to kind of continue on this. If you have an interest in this, obviously let me know. I will just kind of do this every once in a while, come out here, show you the progress, and I'll have a new topic on each one of this every single day that we come out here that I'll try to relate to what we're doing. But it's very important, and a lot of this is just, again, fresh air, sunshine. I know it's an overcast day, but you're still outside. So do something. Don't just sit in the funk. It's very important. Don't just sit in the funk. Actually do something. And a lot of times it doesn't really matter what you do. Just do something. hope this has helped, guys. Again, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Leave your comments down below. If you have something you want me to talk about, definitely let me know about that. You can go to www.behindbarsblueprint.com. That's where all of our resources are at. A lot of this stuff is kind of covered in that, not necessarily specific bushcraft, but just things that you can do to get your mind in a better place. I hope, again, that this is helpful. That's what this whole thing is all about. Again, though, if you have suggestions, if there's something else that you'd like to talk about, let me know, guys. So until next time, keep the faith, stay strong.